A big hello and a very warm welcome to a special travel series, Visit Victoria, partnered by ET Now. I'm Sonali Krishna and I'm going to be taking you on a journey across Victoria. Victoria, as the smallest mainland state in southeastern Australia, is quickly earning a reputation for its breathtakingly diverse attractions, picturesque natural wonders, and a bustling food and wine scene. From Melbourne as the hub of urban artistry to the glorious grape-laden vineyards in the Yarra Valley, from the lush green Central Highlands in the Grampians to the deliciously panoramic coastal towns along the Great Ocean Road. Victoria is every bit different. We begin our journey in Melbourne. As the capital city of the state of Victoria, it is home to over 5 million people. It is a multicultural hotspot that assimilates diverse traditions and rolls out the welcome mat even for those visiting. Our first stop is at Australia's premier venue known as the G. A venerable ground whose hallowed halls reverberate with sporting history. There we meet with Malcolm Christie, who has been witnessing this history in the making for over 23 years. 23 years as a tour guide is no mean feat. So what does it take to become a tour guide? If you can give me a quick summary for my audience that's absolutely exhilarated watching this interaction with you.
Yeah, just to take people to places behind the scenes that unless they come on a tour, they'll never see. You know, that's the thrill, and of seeing people like elderly gentlemen get down on their hands and knees and touch the real grass here at the MCG. You know.
Sure. You know, Malcolm, Indians are absolutely cricket fanatics, as you already know. What is the kind of passion levels we see among Australians for cricket?
Not as great.
Does it match us?
No, it never will match Indians for their passion for the game.
Sure.
We try hard, but we've got to try harder.
Malcolm, there seems to be something going on behind us.
Oh, Australian rules football.
Oh.
Our favourite game here. It's a game started here.
Right.
We're very proud of it.
Okay.
And now it's played in every state of Australia.
But I have to ask you, I wasn't aware that the MCG also hosts other games apart from cricket.
Yeah, we have about 45 games of Australian rules football here a year.
Okay.
We have occasional games of soccer, we have occasional games of rugby and rugby union as well.
Oh, okay.
And then we have concerts here. We had Taylor Swift here for 3 nights just recently.
Where are you taking me?
Next we're going to go down the change rooms and show you the change rooms. Then we'll go upstairs and have an overlook of the view of the whole ground.
Okay.
Then we'll go and see the holy grail of Sachin Tendulkar and Sir Donald Bradman.
Oh, wow.
So this is the coach's room where he takes and talks to the players before the game. Back in 1994, Simon O'Donnell was playing for Victoria in a Sheffield Shield match against New South Wales. Hit the ball, the longest 6 here, and it is still the longest 6 at this ground. This is the most famous picture we have here at the MCG. a photograph of Sir Donald Bradman with Sachin Tendulkar from India. Bradman always said Sachin Tendulkar had the same sportsmanship, the same attitude towards the game as himself. He invited him to his 90th birthday, had this photo taken, had a few copies done, he signed them, Sachin Tendulkar signed them.
We bid Malcolm goodbye at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, ravenous for a meal. Luckily, we arrived in time for the annual Melbourne Food and Wine Festival and got to partake in the very exclusive world's longest lunch. After an Epicurean heaven served via 3-course silver service, we caught up with the creative director of the Melbourne Food and Wine Festival, Pat Nurse.
After many glasses of wine and eating all my courses, I'm ready to actually talk about, the motivation behind hosting this world's longest lunch.
Well, the world's longest lunch has been around Sonali for the entire length of the Melbourne Food and Wine Festival. So the festival started 32 years ago.
1993?
Melbourne had just made a bid for the Olympics and didn't win. It was a low moment. We were a bit sad, us Melburnians at the time. So a group of Melburnians got together and thought, how can we cheer up the city? A food festival. What a great idea. And a centerpiece of that very first food festival was the world's longest lunch. It was not quite the 1,000+ person spectacular you see here today, but I think you'll enjoy the original setting. It was on the grounds of the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Oh,
some of the most
we were just there.
You were just there, of course.
Yes.
Some of the most hallowed cricketing ground in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, our respective nations have done superb battle there over the years. That was where it started. Now we've grown 30-something years later into this pretty incredible event you see around us. Let's clarify some things. It's not literally the world's longest lunch in the sense of it taking a really long time. We like to think of it more as a leisurely lunch. And it's not literally the world's longest lunch in the sense of a really, 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 really long table. It's only 3 reelies. We've got about 500 meters of table here, which is a comfortable amount. In essence, it's about getting together on a Friday, which is a work day here, sloughing off our responsibilities at work, and just having a good time.
How long is the festival for? Does it always happen in March? And what's the kind of monies we're talking about when we want to, let's say, do the world's longest lunch, the world's longest brunch?
We run for 10 days.
Okay.
We're usually in March because the weather is particularly delicious in
True.
March. The world's longest lunch and brunch are at different price points. Brunch is a bit more casual, so we sort of come in under 200 Australian dollars. Lunch is sort of 300-ish. It sort of changes depending on what we're serving and
Sure.
the year.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of inclusions with those things. So not only do you get your 3 courses, you get, bottomless drinks with this. You get coffee. Tomorrow at brunch, not only do you get a fabulous 3-course Indian-inspired breakfast/brunch, you get lots of delicious free things.
When you talk about the Victorian culture, specifically talking about food,
Yeah.
what do you think are the key standouts or, unique to the Victorian region when one talks of food?
We could talk about ingredients, we could talk about the city's close proximity to wine regions, the ease with which as a visitor you can just get into wine country. We have a lot of great wine around Australia, but from some of the other big cities, it's sort of a day trip or an overnight trip to really get into wine. In Victoria, the wine growing regions are right up to the city. So it's very easy to access all of that. But the thing I would like to impress on you is it's actually about our people. It's about the way we eat and drink in Victoria. This event is a great example because there's a lot of work that's been put into the quality of the food and drink. Like that's really impeccable. We really sweat those details. But the manner in which we experience it is resolutely casual. It's fun. People are here to have a good time. That's how we like to eat and drink in Australia. That's how we like to eat and drink, particularly in Victoria. And as a visitor, we really invite you to partake of that.
With satiated stomachs, it's a great time to explore the city sights. and a great and leisurely way to take in the urban architecture is on a go-boat that runs on the Yarra River that goes through the city. We, of course, made a picnic out of it to enjoy as dusk fell. Off day one, we head to Taxi Kitchen in the Transport Hotel corner of Melbourne's centre of creativity, the Federation Square. Taxi Kitchen, featuring cutting-edge design and the view of the Yarra River, offers Australian dishes heavily influenced by Japanese and Southeast Asian cuisines. Finally, for a bit of a nightcap, we head on upstairs to the Transit rooftop bar with its plush red leather and wood paneling to gaze out over the blinking cityscape. Next morning, we visit South Melbourne Market to sample the local produce. Opened in 1867, Melbourne's longest continually running market has almost 150 stalls operated by local small business owners. Marketplace of community and homegrown excellence, generations of Melburnians have stopped and shopped at this market that is just 10 minutes away from the city centre. After a spot of retail, we head to another marvellous experience of the Melbourne Food and Wine Festival 2024, the world's longest brunch. And after gorging on a three-course treat, we caught up with one of the curators of the event, the Indian-born chef, Heli Raichura.
I know you're one of the 3 curators of the world's longest brunch, which is outstanding that you've made a name for yourself. But give me a sense of your background and how, this whole culinary journey began for you.
I feel, look, a culinary journey always becomes a personality which shapes from your childhood.
Absolutely.
And I think every chef would agree that it is something that starts from very young, first foods to now, and then your journey towards where things take you in life. And my life took me to Australia after I was 22, and I've been here since then. And so, of course, I had this strong urge, strong history, heritage, which is inseparable. And almost like a rebel, when I came here, I felt, oh, well, this is not Indian food. I could do better. Let me showcase you the good, amazing, beautiful Indian and represent it in a very respectful, valuable way. And hence, I started into our laundry. It started small, but the impact was bigger and wider. I think, of course, there were a lot of people who do regional cuisine, but I think we grabbed attention of some of the major medias very quickly enough to promote the regional cuisine.
Sure.
And that's what made us popular. And there is an appetite for something unique in Melbourne. If you're doing something exciting and unique, this is the place to be.
To be one of the key curators here, what does that mean? And what does that mean for Australians who are sampling, Indian cuisine with a twist?
Yeah. Look, I see this as to be a very emotional moment in my life, and I think I can represent my heritage very well in this big platform, and that is going to help not just the immediate community and generation, but the generations to come to say, yes, there is an option to cook authentic and delicious and be what we are, which is Indian.
Yes.
And be accepted without altering our tradition.
How would you describe the Melbourne culture and, its food kind of eccentricity in terms of, just experimentalness, openness, and just, the explosions you see from different countries that come together just because it is such a melting pot of sorts. Well, Hayley, I've tried this Faluda and I've got very, very interesting reviews from people I was sitting around during the brunch because they've never tasted something like this. So many textures. What is it that you did differently with the Faluda to kind of, initiate the Australians and other nationalities into our cuisine? I mean, every Indian knows what a Faluda is, but for people here, it was so different.
Yes, absolutely. So my Faluda has, instead of the rose jelly, we have rosella jelly.
What's that?
Rosella is it came to Australia from Africa, but is now quite natively produced for thousands of years here.
Okay.
And so instead of the rose, we have rosella jelly. Instead of some of the garnishes, we've used gelatin wax through it. And we've given, instead of milk, we've used a bit of custard so we can drink wine. So it's a marriage of indigenous Australian ingredients and our Indian techniques and the heritage we've born into.
After a little rest and change at the hotel, we end our night by following the theme of finding path-breaking Indian chefs in Melbourne and head to Daughter-in-Law by Chef Jessie Singh. Bright and early, our third morning, we welcome the sunrise in a hot air balloon. After an exhilarating sunrise, we head to Big Esso by Mabu Mabu, owned by Chef Norni Barrow, a member of the Comet tribe of the Meriam people in Torres Strait.
So it's called Big Esso Mabu Mabu.
Yeah, so Mabu Mabu means bon appetit.
Okay.
So it's like a big table of food and someone says Mabu Mabu, everyone grabs a plate and helps themselves.
Okay. Big Esso?
Big Esso is to say it's a big thank you. It's like a slang word of saying Esso is like thank you that you say. So I wanted to name the restaurant Big Esso to say thanks to everybody that got us here to be able to open this.
Okay. And Mabu Mabu is, I'm assuming, Meriam.
Meriam, yeah. So Mabu Mabu and Big Esso are all in my mother tongue.
Oh,
so
okay.
of Meriam Mir, I speak Meriam Mir as my first language, and then English second, or well, actually Creole and then English as well.
So you set this up, how long ago? About 2.5, 3 years ago?
Yeah, so we've been open almost 3 years. So we're 2.5 years in, going to 3. I feel like we just opened up yesterday all the time though. Because we just do so much new things constantly, and we're sitting ahead of like a lot of things in the industry is changing, and we're doing such an amazing job of showcasing what new modern Australian food is going to be. So it feels like it's brand new every single year, I think, when it will come down to it.
Give me a sense of the flavors and the meat and all of that, because it will really be a gateway for people at home.
I have so many top 5s of different native ingredients. But I know you guys like a little bit of spice.
We do. We love our spice.
So our pepperberry here that we have, our natural pepper, it's like really nice and spicy, a little bit like Szechuan pepper. And it really goes well with our game stuff that we have. So it's got that really spiciness, but it has that clovey feel too as well.
Okay.
So it really is unique to us, but it will capture your taste buds. And I like to honor it. It's in like my top 5 of native ingredients that everybody should try. Like I'm a yam girl, so we tend to do a lot of yams. So we're like goodbye potatoes. Let's bring in the yams, and we tend to do a lot with that here. And it's about knowing the flavors and getting them from each state as well, and introducing you to that. But then we sit on the sea succulent sides as well. We use different types of seaweed here that we get wild harvested and stuff, and use all that too as well to put on your plate and give you these like salty salty sort of cucumber feels to it, but ocean dwelling too as well. And then we like to sit on that side of sustainability within the seafood industry, because we want to showcase things from periwinkles or fresh tamarins on the menu.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about kind of collectively thinking about what you're eating as well, and teaching you that variety is the spice of life.
Absolutely. And on that note, thank you so much, Norni. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing these insights. And hopefully, with this interview in perspective, we'll see a lot more Indian traffic coming in, being experimental, and of course, actually experiencing food from the original inhabitants. Thank you so much.
Eso.
Deb Ari?
Deb Ari.
Deb Ari.
Yeah.
That's Cheers in Merriam.
For the final destination of our day, we head to the National Gallery of Victoria International to see the collection comprising of the styles and stories of art through a curator-led tour with Evan McGowan.
So the NGV is the oldest gallery in Australia. It's the largest gallery in the country, and was founded in the 1860s.
Oh, okay.
So it's old, and it was founded when Melbourne was a gold rush city. So we have a triennial exhibition on at the moment. So this is a big exhibition of contemporary art and design, global survey. And we're going to go and look at a project by Francesca Footer, which is about our relationship to the weather.
Oh, wow.
Now, I want you to go and lie down on the rug.
But my shoes on, I should have removed them.
No, just leave your shoes on. You go first. This is Francesca Footer's work. So she's based in Switzerland, and she is reminding us really that we're all influenced by the weather. It's what, shapes the world, but we think about it like it's just an app on our phone. This is a room to reflect on this idea of nature shaping our experience rather than us shaping nature's experience. So this is Yoko Ono's room. So Yoko Ono is obviously one of, a very famous character in contemporary culture. And the work is called My Mummy is Beautiful. And so what we have is, this started as an empty room.
Oh, okay.
And basically the first person, so the instructions are come in, take a piece of paper, and leave a note for your mother.
Really?
And it's based on a poem that the artist wrote to her own mother. The next room, this is kind of an elaborate story, but it's a beautiful work. The color is important because this is a room so this is a textile work. It's 40 meters long. And it's all dyed with fabric so the dyes are the pips of avocados, the skins of avocados,
Okay.
and marigold flowers. In Mexico, they grow avocados. They export those avocados to America. But because the demand is so huge now in America,
Sure.
there are people who have started illegally clearing forest to grow avocados. So we see the gangster and the corruption, the money, and the violence in a community. The brief was to tell a story of their city through their own perspective.
Sure.
And we had that conversation about, the perception of the megacity. And interestingly, all of the photography that people have sent has been generally quite optimistic in my view. Like even though you've got the grittiness of the city sometime, you've got also this sense of this is the joy of, the shared experiences we all have. So when, we want
still like part of traveling.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we travel.
Right.
Because you want to access the energy of other people,
Absolutely.
the energy of the other place.
Absolutely. I think what you're doing here is amazing. I'm glad I had the opportunity to get a tour personally curated by you. And I hope people from home back in India come back to Melbourne and particularly the NGV and kind of soak all this amazing art and, just thoughts that, you've put together so well.
It's like a party in here in Cairo. This is Cairo. It's been so good touring you. And of course, yeah, everyone's welcome. I mean, it's the gallery of the people.
Join us next time as we spend a final day in Melbourne and head to Ballarat in the Central Highlands of the Grampians.